Tonight, learn about the dangers of texting and driving.
Plus, Troy students prepare to meet possible future employers. Stay tuned. TrojanVision Nightly News starts now.
From the high-definition digital production center on the Troy campus, with news from Troy University locations around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Nightly News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Nightly News for March 8, 2012. I'm Judson Garner.
And I'm Bailey Majors. Thank you for joining us this evening. All this week, Troy students have gotten lessons on spring break safety courtesy of Gamma, but today they got an education on something that can be a deadly problem any time of the year, texting and driving. And thanks to some virtual technology, students were able to learn how unable they were to do it. Danielle Wallace has the story.
Texting and driving certainly doesn't go hand in hand, and with spring break right around the corner, the campus organization Gamma partnered with an awareness group to give students an opportunity to test out their driving skills while texting using a special simulator.
We do DUI simulators and texting and driving simulators. We're doing the texting and driving simulator today, just to show how dangerous it is to text and drive.
In addition to getting behind the wheel to experience a virtual roadway, students were given more tips about spring break safety, and they were also encouraged to sign a pledge against texting and driving. Most students thought they could take on the challenge of texting and driving, but as they can see, it was very easy to crash and burn in the simulator.
The simulator was actually really hard. It's a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. I crashed twice, and also my text didn't turn out as it was supposed to.
Some students weren't aware of the things they were doing wrong, such as speeding, until they were given the results afterwards.
But I ran off the road once, and I was speeding the whole entire time.
The results allowed students to know how fast they were driving, as well as how many times they drove on the wrong side of the road.
Stay off the phone, especially during spring break, they have enough distractions as it is. Just to stay off the phone and concentrate on the road.
Danielle Wallace, Troy TrojanVision News.
Today was the final event of Gamma Spring Break Safety Week. Spring break for Troy students starts at the end of classes tomorrow.
A group of students have come together and have taken on what is seen as a big problem among college-age people. It's campaign season, and Troy University's dining hall was the site of a campaign of a different kind. The Less Than You Think campaign is now officially underway.
And what we're just trying to do is promote to students that it takes a lot less alcoholic beverages than you think it does to start doing socially awkward activities out in public.
For several weeks, students may have noticed the advertisements with catchy phrases placed inside alcoholic beverages.
Really promoted this with a humor aspect because a lot of students like humor. This age group specifically is really prone to going towards things that are more humorous.
This new campus organization is not set up to promote anti-alcohol, but to fight the act of binge drinking. So, how do you define binge drinking?
All it is 4 to 5 alcoholic beverages in a 2-hour period. So a lot of students are defining it as, 10 drinks in an hour, but no, it's really a lot less than you think.
And this organization is not just staying put on campus, they're actually going into local bars to spread their message.
We can get our message into a bar and get our message into students that are interested in going out to have alcoholic beverages, then we can get that put in their minds every time they revisit that bar.
The Less Than You Think campaign is funded by the Century Council and the National Alcohol Beverage Control Association on behalf of the Alabama Alcoholic Beverage Control Board. Well, Bailey, as you know, Troy University's Office of Career Services helps students try to find employment after college.
That's right, Judson, but for education majors, the process of finding a job is a little different. So the Office of Career Services puts on a career fair every semester specifically for them. Christina Cook has the story.
Many seniors gathered in Hawkins Hall as the College of Education played host to a career fair for students hoping to find a job after graduation.
Well, today we've got the education fair. It's taking place in Hawkins Hall. It's just from 9 to 11, but we've got a lot of our students who are education majors here. Most of them are interns right now and they're getting ready to graduate, so they're looking for a job. I think most of the teachers or the schools here are looking for soon-to-be graduates, so they probably are looking for graduates that are going to finish in May and can go ahead and start teaching maybe in the fall. They're looking for anything. There's different types of education majors from the secondary to the elementary, high school. So we're trying to match them up with schools that are here from across the state.
With 16 schools present from around the state of Alabama, many students were able to pick and choose which schools they wanted to inquire information about and apply for a possible job.
Really, I've just been talking to different principals and different administrators that are here because I'm looking for a job in the secondary, middle, or high school system. So I've just been talking to them to get an idea of what I need to put on a resume and just see what they're looking for. I'm moving to Huntsville in June, so right now I'm trying to look for a Huntsville City School or county school, anything around that area in North Alabama.
The career fair not only provided students with the opportunity to find a job, it also allowed many of the schools present to find future employees.
One of the things that we're looking for are people who really exude energy, lots of positive attitudes, lots of interest in our district and our area as well. We have areas open that will be opening up probably toward the end of the school year, waiting for the state, of course, to make their decisions on the funding, and then we'll know more once we receive information from the state how many units we will be given. But we do have some openings probably in the areas of elementary and secondary areas such as math, science, and English.
Christina Cook, Troy, TrojanVision News.
If any students have questions about career options, they can visit the Career Service Office in Eldridge Hall, room 104.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. In Montgomery, Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney is planning a visit to the state after picking up an endorsement from former Governor Bob Riley. Romney's campaign says he will attend an event at Thompson Tractor in Birmingham at 2:30 p.m. tomorrow.
And in Dothan, in Alabama, man has pled guilty to unlawful possession of aircraft parts belonging to the federal government. Federal court records state that 54-year-old Jonathan Eugene Dent of Newton pleaded guilty to felony unlawful possession of government property. The Dothan Eagle reports that Dent faces a prison sentence up to 10 years in his sentencing hearing in June.
And also in Montgomery, the acquitted owner of Victoryland Casino in Shorter says he will reopen the business in a few months with electronic bingo machines like he had before. Milton McGregor said today in an interview with the Associated Press that he also plans to reopen Victoryland's hotel and restaurants and bring back live dog racing.
Still to come on TrojanVision Nightly News, the Trojan baseball team played at home last night. Tiffany Lester will be in next in sports with all the details of last night's game.
But first, winter seemed to skip over many Americans this season. We'll have that more on that story after the break.
Unseasonably warm weather is bringing out the crowds. I'm Susan McGinnis in Washington, D.C. Coming up, how a mild winter is impacting the economy.
College is hard. Down. Those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education.
Right up here.
So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour
Lights there, darks there.
to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Find out how you can live United for education. Give, advocate, volunteer. Go to liveunited.org.
Do you wear this?
From the high-definition digital production studios of Troy University, you're watching the award-winning TrojanVision Nightly News.
What's happening across the nation and around the world? We'll go to Judson Garner at the Global News Desk. Judson.
Thanks, Bailey. For millions of Americans, it's like winter never came. The U.S. has seen one of the warmest winters on record, and today, people in several parts of the country were able to leave their coats at home. Susan McGinnis explains.
No jacket required in Washington, D.C.
The weather feels good.
Temperatures in the 60s even inspired some to lose the shirt.
This is great and unbelievable.
In New York's Central Park, you'd never know it's still officially winter.
It's definitely weird that it's this warm this early.
From the northeast to the south, millions are enjoying unusually high temperatures.
It's absolutely gorgeous outside.
The U.S. is approaching the end of the fourth warmest winter on record.
In Washington, D.C., 70 of the last 91 days have seen higher than average temperatures, and this balmy weather is having an impact on the national economy.
Many cities have saved millions of dollars just keeping their snowplows parked. Americans are spending less to heat their homes, and the construction business is booming in the warm weather. But not everyone is a fan of this mild weather. Many allergy sufferers are struggling with an early pollen season, and forecasters are concerned the high temperatures could trigger more severe storms, like last week's deadly tornadoes. But right now, they are singing Mother Nature's praises, and the beautiful weather is even leaving a few
How do you like the weather?
speechless. Meteorologists say enjoy it now. A cold front is moving in and temperatures will drop back to normal levels. Susan McInnes, CBS News, Washington.
The products you use every day contain chemicals you may not be aware of, and some of them could cause health problems. One consumer group says you should know what's in the products you buy. Edward Lawrence reports from Marina Del Rey, California.
Buffy Hornung takes care of her body and reads the labels on products she buys. She trusts that they are complete.
If there's something in a store, especially a main store, a chain store, I'm going to think that that product is safe.
But the Silent Spring Institute tested 213 everyday products for 66 chemical compounds, including BPA, parabens, and triclosans, which have been found to cause asthma or disrupt the hormone system.
They found, of the 66 chemicals, they found 55 of them.
The study found the highest concentration of chemicals in fragrant products like perfume, air fresheners, dryer sheets, and sunscreen. You probably have products with these chemicals all over your house, your bathroom, your laundry room, your kitchen. But if you want to avoid them, it's difficult to know what you should buy.
The bottom line is they were testing for a number of these chemicals that were showing up in products and they weren't listed on the label.
Critics of the study say it has several flaws, including it tested products together in batches instead of one by one. And the study doesn't say how much exposure to the chemicals cause health problems. Hansen says new packaging regulations would help solve the problem.
We need more labeling. These ingredients should absolutely be listed on the labels.
I kind of assume that everything is in the label. I shouldn't be left out in the dark of what I'm getting.
Buffy Hornung says that information would help her make a choice about the products she uses every day. Edward Lawrence for CBS News, Marina Del Rey, California.
And that'll wrap things up from the Global News Desk. To see more stories from across the country and around the world, you can tune into Trojan Vision Global News right after the nightly news. Now back to you, Bailey.
Thanks so much, Judson. And now Tiffany Lesser joins us with sports. So Tiffany, we had a home baseball game last night and we had a really good outcome.
That's true. If you were watching the game, if you were at the game or listening to the game, you know that we did have a very good outcome, and we're hoping that we'll have the same outcomes this weekend for baseball and softball. But first, let's take a look at last night's game. After an error-plagued night caused the Trojan baseball team to lose by 2 runs to in-state rival UAB Tuesday night, Troy didn't have much time to work on their mistakes with another game against another team the very next night. But apparently they worked things out. Dustin Carroll has the story.
After losing to UAB in a game that saw the Trojans commit 5 errors and give up 9 runs, the Troy baseball team was able to bounce back Wednesday night against East Carolina with an 8-2 victory that featured a solid 6-inning performance by pitcher Cass Abercrombie and some clutch hits by Logan Pierce and Danny Collins. The Trojans were also able to produce a solid defensive performance that saw them commit 0 errors. As Coach Bobby Pierce talks about the great game his starting pitcher had.
What a crazy game we play, you know, from one day to the next. 9 errors made by both teams last night. Tonight, a well-played, well-executed game. For us, it started on the mound. Cass Abercrombie gave us everything and more we could possibly want. We've been searching for a couple of guys to step up in those starting roles, and I think Cass made a statement tonight with his performance.
There's no doubt that the star of the game was pitcher Cass Abercrombie, who pitched 6 solid innings for the Trojans. Abercrombie talks about how comfortable he was on the mound.
I mean, I knew it was between me and AJ, and I knew there was a good chance I was going to get the start, so I kind of went about it the same way I would normally, but I think I didn't have near as much nerves, coming in, not knowing right until game time, so I think it kind of worked.
First baseman Logan Pierce says there's no doubt the pitching staff was the difference in the 8-2 victory over the Pirates.
Hats off to Cass Abercrombie. He pitched a great game. That we're expecting a good performance by him, but not that great. And when you give it to Austin and Hill and Workman for the 7th, 8th, and 9th, it's over with the lead.
And hats off to these guys for bouncing back and showing the mental toughness that we talk about every day. And
Abercrombie feels a lot of his success was because of players like Tyler Hanna.
I kept the ball down and just let the defense work. Basically, I didn't walk many guys, and I felt like just let the D work. I have a great infield behind me, and Tyler Hanna made a lot of great plays behind me, and just really fortunate to have him behind me.
Dustin Carroll, Troy TrojanVision Sports.
Up next, the Trojans stay at home for a weekend series against Monmouth. First pitch of the series is set for 6 on Friday night. And off to the best start in program history, the Troy softball team travels to Baton Rouge, Louisiana for the Purple and Gold Challenge. For the final non-conference tournament of the year, the Trojans take on both LSU and Mississippi Valley State twice. With a record of 16-2, Troy enters this weekend on a 5-game winning streak.